What are we thinking? Do we have time to run walls?
Touchdown! Oh, Kenyon Drake! A miracle! Miraculous in Miami!
You want Philly?
Yeah, let's do it.
Philly special. Ready?
It's Hester trying to work it back to the middle. Gets past the first wave, and here he goes. It's Hester inside the 30. Hester's going to take it all the way for a touchdown. And no flag, 92 yards.
It's happening. Welcome to Far From Lombardi. We are now in week 2. How is everyone?
Good.
Terrible.
Not
Terrible.
bad, you left us waiting.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is a later record than usual because I was filming another podcast.
He was moonlighting.
Yeah.
Moonlighting.
Do you remember back in the day, Mark, one of us used to get a load of stick for being on another podcast on certain nights
I
and
remember that, yeah.
making other people change plans?
I do.
Well, whenever I'm on another podcast, I promote this podcast. When you were on another podcast, you never mentioned the fact that you were on another podcast.
When I'm not in this room, I just pretend you two don't exist.
Exactly, that's the problem. I'm out there trying to raise our profile, so eventually we get big enough to like monetize this.
That's all I'm here for, the money. Just none of the hard work before.
Exactly. So a bit of appreciation would be nice. So anyway, we're recording later. My fault. I was recording a podcast called Pigoted. If you want to check it out, I was very funny. Yeah. How are you two?
Yeah, good.
Terrible.
Yeah. Three L's this week. Is that right?
No. Washington won. The only team won this week.
Oh.
It was the least winning win.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
it felt like an L.
Yeah. I actually think that. Do you want to talk about it now? Or?
We took an L watching it. No, we'll get to it in a minute. But anything happened? Any news, Mark?
A bit of injury news, and then there's something which is sort of relevant to London.
Oh.
So I'll do that first.
You going to London, by the way?
Yeah.
You going Jets Falcons?
Yeah.
So when is the international games in London?
So the Jets Falcons is the 10th and my Dolphins Jags are the 17th October,
which is what a
week
Sunday.
5 and 6.
So then on the Tuesday following, the 12th of October, the NFL have announced there's an international combine in London taking place in the Spurs Stadium.
Oh wow!
For international, it's a player pathway. So obviously any talent that's been scouted within Europe.
Can you go and see it?
Yeah. So no, it's behind closed doors, but I'm assuming there'll be cameras and all the usual stuff there.
I wonder how we get press packages for that.
Yeah, be interesting.
I'd speak to
It's worth having a do, isn't it?
Speak to some friends so we can get down there.
So obviously NFL must have scouts in Europe or contacts in Europe for any players.
Well,
so
they have the NFL Academy.
Yeah, NFL Academy, but they've opened up Spurs' stadium before for this sort of thing.
Yeah,
that you've been able to go down as just a Joe Bloggs off the street and try and run a 3-cone.
But it's an official thing now. Anyway.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
And then I think a lot of players were just dropping like flies this weekend, weren't they? We had Tyrod, who seems to be the unluckiest quarterback.
I feel for every time he gets a number 1 spot.
He was on a revenge mission as well.
Really good
When he walked that touchdown in, the stadium went silent. Tyrod was looking at the fans like, "Remember me?
Yeah.
Week 3, 2018. You were desperate for me to go. I couldn't wait for that revenge."
Do you know what I mean? He had a chance with the charges, and he got stabbed in the heart with the needle, didn't he?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's no way to get your job, is it?
Tua went out with his rib injury, didn't he? Big sack.
Yeah.
He's made a glass.
Sacked him and he's done his ribs.
Is he done? Do you think?
I don't know.
He's not been great, has he?
I don't think the Dolphins have been great through 2 games.
I think if Brissett shows enough, he'll keep that job. And let's say we might just see Watson there sooner than week 8. I think.
What, this year?
Yeah.
You know, Tony'd have a bet with you, wouldn't he, for that?
I'm feeling the Watson trade coming.
I don't know.
Big that.
Tua goes to IR. They trade for Watson.
The Ginger Ninja Andy Dalton went off with his knee injury as well, didn't he? Running of all people to run a play. he ran it out of bounds, and then as he sort of jumped over the tackle, he jarred his knee.
Oh.
That could be a blessing in disguise. That because
forces that.
He's just on a clock anyway with Fields on the sideline.
Jarvis Landry went off with a knee injury as well, which is to be confirmed.
He's gone to IR as well.
Yeah.
He's big for them as well.
Yeah.
You know, when OBJ went there, it was all supposed to be the Baker to OBJ connection, but it's always been Landry that's been his favourite target. So,
and then probably the biggest player to have an injury was TJ Watt. Played 5 snaps or something, I think, in the weekend game with the Raiders.
Yeah. And they've now signed Taco Charlton.
Yes.
Free agent, former first round pick. Done okay with the Chiefs and then got injured. And then everyone expects him to make the Chiefs roster this year, and for some reason didn't, and we don't know why. Don't know what, like, there's no reason given why, but everyone expects him to as well.
Probably puts a bit more
it's a
emphasis
fall
on
from
Melvin
grace,
Ingram
that.
now, doesn't it?
Everyone, what you say?
Probably puts a bit more emphasis on Melvin Ingram now as the pass rusher.
Yeah, but to be honest, it'll be interesting to see them two in that scheme. I think we might see. I think the Steelers are obviously going to drop off. TJ Watt's the best defensive end in the league, but it'll be interesting how much they drop off. I don't think it'll be that great.
Yeah. Is it just because we talk about these players when they get a deal, or does it seem to be just this recurring theme in the NFL? You get paid,
You get injured.
Yeah.
I wonder how much of it's a case of you get paid, and then you're less willing to play through pain.
Maybe.
because you know you're secure. You know your future.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So like that groin injury, I wonder how many times TJ Watt's played through something like that. Maybe not as bad, but a case of he's got his money now, so it's a case of wow.
I suppose if
I'm not going to risk the longevity of my career now.
Yeah, if it's one of those situations where they say you can get the surgery, long term, it's going to be better for your body.
Yeah.
When you know that you've got tens of millions to sit back on, maybe you're going to be more likely to take it.
Yeah, go and get the surgery. Yeah. Enough.
Yeah.
Should we get straight into the games then?
Do you want to do our bits first or do you want to do the games first?
Well, our bits depend on the games. You know, so you can have
mine's more to do with the weekend action, to be fair.
Right, Sam.
Is that something you want to do first or last?
I don't know, do whatever.
We'll do it at the end of the games, then, eh?
Is it a good rant?
Yeah.
Right, we'll build up to it.
You're going to perform it this week?
I'm going to hammer it up this week.
Oh, I'm looking forward to this.
Right, let's save it till last.
Seeing as Tony's not sent in his shit house of the week, I'll do his shit house of the week. I might as well do it nice and early. Can you Google for me? And apologise for this, Tom.
Oh, go on.
My shit house of the week is the journalist who asked Zach Wilson whether he was seeing ghosts.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
After that game, and the just fucking... Because that's not going to bother Wilson, really, because it wasn't him who said it, and it's not like... But it's a little niggle at every single Jets fan who's watching the press conference.
How predictable is it, though?
Yeah, but that's why I liked it, though, as well. It was such a level shit house where he was like... They mentioned it about 8 times during the game.
Yeah.
Oh, is he seeing go? Oh, it's the ghost thing again. And then everyone's thinking it. And it's Bill Belichick. And then, have you got the journalist's name?
No.
All right. Then the journalist, just in the press conference, thinks, just in case Wilson hasn't had it rammed into him enough, then asks him, is that there might have been a case that you were seeing ghosts on the field?
So it wasn't a Jets beat reporter. It wasn't Connor Hughes, Rich Samini, because they all like rolled their eyes, because they were expecting it. I mean, but Zach Wilson, he watches tape.
Didn't he handle it quite well? He
handles the media perfectly. Like he's so chilled in the media.
I just loved it. It was like, oh, by the way, just everyone's talking about it. Let's just ram it into your head now.
So
what you seeing, ghosts, Zach, or not?
So predictable, though, innit? I mean,
that was the beauty behind it, though. It was like, ugh.
Would it not have been Kyle Van Noy because he tweeted it out? I think it was before the game was even finished. He tweeted out ghosts again. I mean, Belichick fired him off to Miami. He gets sent back with his tail between his legs within 12 months. And there he is, sat on his Twitter account. You not got anything better to do, Kyle? No?
Clearly not, no. Yes, it was a thing of beauty. So that is Tony's shit house of the week, since he's not here to do it. What's the first game then? Washington?
Yeah, Giants at Washington. Got away with this one. Yep, but I'll take it.
The problem I had with this game was watching it and hearing the commentators trying to talk about how good the QB play was from Daniel Jones and Tyler Heineke, and I was just there like, this is fucking dreadful. Why are they trying to make out that this is...
I think going into the fourth quarter, on the box score for Heineke didn't look great, but the fourth quarter when it mattered, that touchdown to Seal Jones. Was spot on, do you know what I mean? And can I just shout out to Kickers Club? Justin Hopkins, do you know what I mean, with the kick?
Yeah.
Spot on. And Graham Gano in that game, I think he's done 5 of 5 in that game as well, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think
I'm still a bit worried about our pass rush, though.
Your defensive line just disappeared.
We have 4 sacks.
I thought the Cowboys' offensive line was good against Tampa Bay. Who did you play? You playing Cowboys, right?
No, play Giants.
Giants. Where am I on about? Sorry, I'm thinking about something else. Go on, carry on.
My view watching it, and I only watched the game in 40, so I didn't watch the full game. Yeah. But the way I saw it was, the edge was constantly going after Jones. constantly trying to get the sack, and they weren't setting an edge. And so all Daniel Jones had to do was find the gap, and finding the edge. I mean, sometimes some of the runs he was making, it wasn't a scramble up the middle. He was getting around defensive line, and getting up the sideline. And he's a mobile QB anyway. And I can absolutely see why that Washington defensive line will just think we can beat any unit in the league.
Yeah.
But at the same time, play smart. Play smart.
It's 2 weeks now.
Set the edge. Force him into mistakes, because he is not an injury prone. He's a mistake prone quarterback, and all you've got to do is just bring that out of him. You don't need to go hell for leather every snap.
I get the impression because
we never gave the score, by the way.
Yeah, sorry. Right, it was. I can't even think of it off the top of my head.
30-29.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
God, I'm good, aren't I?
You know. Off the top of my head.
Stats out. Leave your phone out because you're gonna need it for the next game.
I got the impression with them, especially over 2 games, there's 2 star edge rushers in Sweat and Young.
Yeah.
So you know, like I don't know, I take it with the Browns. We've got with Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is the star, and like the other side will set the edge for him to rush. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's almost like they both want to rush it at the same time.
I think there's a feeling they're both good enough, so it's a case of let your best players play sort of thing. But I think like Tom's sensible in what he's saying. It's like set your unit first and then start inside the unit.
If this is a quarterback that you need to put the fear into in terms of getting in his face, I can see the game plan.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones fumbles the ball, throws interceptions, all on his own.
Yeah.
So just calm, sensible football. Yeah. And instead they were trying to take his head off. And listen, it's not a huge problem for Washington. It's not the case of, players like Chase Young aren't as talented as we thought we were. It's just a case of just play smart
coaching,
football.
I think.
Yeah, just play smarter football.
Yeah, I think, like you say, I think it's a case of being too good, so they're getting complacent and not like you say, not playing smarter. They're assuming they're getting.
And what they actually did is they allowed Daniel Jones to have one of his better days, and if the rushing touchdown hadn't have been pulled back, Giants win that game.
Do you know what was strange?
And it was a rough call that pulled it back. It was a hold, but it was the not even half a second where is it Slayton that was done for the hold?
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm thinking
Slayton missed a big one in the end zone as well. He must have been fingertips of using the end zone, and he will.
We could be talking here about Daniel Jones winning the game. Instead, we're talking about Heineke. I thought that fade to the touchdown pass to Seals Jones, I thought it was all on Ricky Seals Jones, because it was high.
Such a catch.
Seals Jones is
I think you're doing a disservice to Heineken there, because you just
deliberately called him Heineken.
That's all I'm ever going to call him. I think you're doing a disservice to him there, because he puts that ball where it's either Ricky Seals Jones goes up and gets it, or it's out of bounds.
And it would have been nobody else on that offense, because he's the tallest player on that offense. So we'll give it to him. But I just thought to the athleticism to make the catch, it was nearly my monotone moment of the week. Oof. Nearly.
Do you want to whiz through a few other scores quickly?
Just do the games we'll talk about them.
Yeah, go on. Steelers 17, Raiders 26.
Anyone believe in the Raiders?
I'm going to hold my hands up. I had them down as my boring team, didn't I, at the start of the year? Totally wrong. I mean, Derek Carr is slinging it.
Yeah.
You're not convinced? He's just like, yeah. No.
Well, I've got a feeling with them that it's okay to beat an okay Steelers team.
That for me was the shock of the week.
I wouldn't say it was the shock of the week, no.
Who's had a bigger win for you?
Well, maybe win-wise, but I think the Eagles being so in it with the 49ers was a bigger shock for me than...
The Bills blowout to the Dolphins.
Yeah, but I see what you're getting at. I still expected the Bills.
Yeah, but not
I'm saying as a win, possibly as a shock win. Maybe even the Ravens, but to an extent. But like we can talk about that later on. The Raiders for me, the reason I don't believe them is because it's just like, okay, who to be first game didn't expect to beat the Ravens, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And they beat two good defenses now, which is where the shock is for me, because I didn't think their offense would be that good. The defense seems to be doing well. I think there's an air of the Raiders now where everyone in that building knows it's this year or not at all.
Yeah.
And that's what's making it exciting, because I feel like Carr knows if he gets a new coach in, he's gone. Gruden knows that it's like, okay, it's 5 years now. Okay, he might not get fired because of how long his contract is, but there's a sense of like, you're not going to be John Gruden anymore. Like if you carry on failing here, you're no longer the John Gruden, so that Telly contract mightn't be there anymore, because while you're a big personality, after failing so hard, the Raiders, you're not the aura that you was.
I think that's gone already.
I don't. I think he still seems to have a lot of star power, and I think people are still making excuses for him. And I think if he gets sacked, it's gone. I think Mike Mayock knows this is his chance of being a GM after being in the telly so long, and is anyone going to respect what he says as an analyst after failing so badly with his draft picks? So there's a sense everyone in that building knows this is your chance, and it might be your last chance to do something.
I think
and it's making them exciting.
I think they regress back to the mean. I think they'll regress back to what they are.
Oh, I think so as well, but I think it's exciting.
Yeah, of course.
What's happening there, because everyone's going, shit, we've got to do something now.
I was totally wrong. I'm not saying that, I've got them now as my Super Bowl team, but I had them down as my boring team in the AFC, and I've been so wrong in those first 2 games.
Rob just mentioned the Eagles.
Are we going to mention anything about the Steelers?
I think that they need to give Najee Harris the ball 18 times a game.
But they gave him the ball and he done nothing with it. He couldn't get anything going on the ground.
The offensive line, they were supposed to have sort of been happy with it. They let Villanueva go to the Ravens.
Yeah.
Left tackle. And they don't think they replaced him. Did Castro went as well? Is it Castro?
The Castro's retired, hasn't he?
Yeah. And Villanueva left. And then I don't think, and then obviously the other fella left, Pouncey. Marcus Pouncey.
Oh, the centre.
The centre.
Yeah.
They were a bad offensive line last year, and they've just got even worse. So Najee Harris was on 100% of the snaps in week 1 as well. But only got something like 20 touches, 25 touches, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I found the Steelers to be predictable in the air, and that's worrying considering the receivers that they've got. And if any team has got to pound the rock, give it to Najee Harris, give it 18, 20 times a game, establish the run game, because Ben isn't slinging it like he used to. I mean, it's taking him 4 seconds to wind the ball up.
Yeah.
So give the ball to Najee Harris 18, 20 times a game, establish the run. Let him do the hard work.
You say, I wonder whether they just don't have the confidence in the O-line at the that's why they're avoiding it.
Maybe.
Before they ruin a first round pick. Right, go on. Next game, sorry.
Next game was 49ers at the Eagles. 49ers 17, Eagles 11. Again, I didn't see this coming.
Anyone?
Didn't see.
So, has anyone after the second game starting to trust Hurts more than they were? Believing what Hurts is now?
I think he's in a better situation than what we thought. I don't necessarily think he's a better quarterback than we thought.
The O-line
we didn't think was
incredible.
Yeah, I mean, we all thought Lane Johnson was done for. We all thought Jason Kelsey was done for. Landon Dickinson come in as centre, the Bama centre.
Bama centre, yeah. And he had an injury history as well.
Yeah,
he had a knee ending the year.
So, and then obviously, me and Tom were just talking about before, and I spoke about last week, Jordan Mailata, 7th round pick. Massive 6'8" ex-rugby player coming in left tackle, just pancaking people.
Yeah.
And it seems to be a solid defensive line. And you get yourself sorted in the trenches, it's half the battle anyway.
Defensive line was great the week before. Obviously, got a couple of injuries there now. So
Brandon Graham looks like he's out for the season.
And also, we talked about Philly last year about having no receivers. Having Devontae Smith now, Jalen Reagor just looks like a totally different player.
Is that because teams are concentrating on Devontae Smith more, or do you think it's just second year getting used to the league a bit more?
Second year, sophomore production, maybe he just knows the league better. Yeah. Maybe having Devontae Smith as the number 1, but he just looks like a totally different player.
Do you think maybe it's having Jalen Hurts there as well, sort of thing, not having in and out, in it, like sort of
it's not
confusion quarterback?
Yeah. I think a bit of credit needs to go to Sirianni as well, doesn't he? Do you know what I mean? Because he was coming in and saying he was just a yes man, and he was just sort of...
It wasn't... Nobody sort of, when they were speaking about Sirianni, it was anything to do with him or his coaching record. It was all based on that opening press conference where he just looked like a scared first time head coach who didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
But so far so good. What I'd say about the 49ers is
they can't get the run game going. Like,
but this is every year. This is every year with San Francisco. Yeah. It seems to happen on both sides of the ball that the roster just gets ravished by injuries. When it's not, it's Super Bowl worthy. But how many times have we seen San Francisco, a season or a portion of the season, just totally written off because of injury? Yeah. I mean, Deebo Samuel's going to have a year the way he's going.
Brandon Ayuk, what's happened to him? Like, this just talking fantasy. Brandon Ayuk's gone missing. They don't seem to want to use Trey Sermon after picking him up in the second round, was it? Third round?
They activated Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah, and he got all the ball. Sermon. Yeah.
And then Brandon Ayuk in week 1 was only seen on special teams, and they were talking about a quad injury.
Well, they said because he hadn't trained the week before. He only saw 2 at Not 2 targets the week before. He had, I think he had 2 receptions this week, something like that.
He'll get back into it because he's a good
Johnson
receiver.
Up, haven't they, off the waiver wire as well? Off there, no, actually off the practice squad.
Kerryon Johnson, yeah.
Yeah. Former first round pick in the Lions.
That might just be. I mean, they picked him up
He's
a couple
only,
of weeks ago.
he's only 3 years in the league as well.
Yeah. People have written him off, but he's still got legs.
Well, when they played the Chiefs last year, the Lions, Kerryon just looked great. I really liked him.
I think if they hadn't have picked up Swift, he'd still be a Lion.
Yeah.
Browns.
One thing. Sorry, Jimmy G. Before we move on,
You've worn that jersey for a reason.
Trey Lance jersey on.
Yeah.
Think he's coming in to kickstart the run game?
No. Jimmy G is going to get this team to. I'm not going to say Super Bowl back end of the playoffs, but you can see safe, sensible football serving this team well, and that's 2 things that Trey Lance is not. Trey Lance is exciting, he's raw, he's going to make mistakes. Jimmy G, he's just proving yet again, safe and sensible, keep the ball moving.
It only gets you so far. Don't look at the Super Bowl.
Do you think anyone might? Because there was trade rumours, wasn't there, this week? Do you think anyone might be tempted? And the 49ers might be tempted to trade him if someone comes in with a big enough offer. I think. What would it take for them to let him go?
First rounder.
I think the way he's playing at the minute, you'd want a first. Yeah, it depends on the team, doesn't it? I mean, obviously, if it's the Texans coming in and they're picking in the top 3, you're probably going to take their second.
I don't think the Texans would. I think the Texans will take a chance on it.
It's Davis Mills now.
No,
it's not them rumoured to be. It's not them rumoured to be
season.
trading for him, is it? Who was it? Who was rumoured?
It was the Colts at one point, weren't they? But then
there's someone else this last week that was rumoured to start the trade talks with Garoppolo.
Could it be Washington?
Possibly Washington. I know there was trade talk. But I'm just interested about what price the 49ers go. Fuck it, go on.
I'd say depending on the team, late first, early second.
Yeah.
And if you San Francisco, snap their hand off.
Yeah.
Browns 31, Texans 21.
This game was a lot closer.
We thought Browns would piss the 12.
When Tyrod was in, this game was close.
Yeah.
I mean, he was playing some good quarterback play in both weeks that we've seen him. I mean, one thing I found out about the Texans is, particularly on the offense, this is a team of players that the whole world has written off.
Yeah.
Starting with Tyrod Taylor, Philip Lindsay,
David Johnson,
Brandon Cooks. It's full of players that have gone from team.
Ingram, Mark Ingram.
Yeah.
Do you think they could go to Mark Culley? I think you would David Culley for this.
The whole vibe at training camp with the Texans was that they hadn't put players' names to numbers, so that the press didn't know who was getting first team snaps and all this stuff.
And they tried to shut down training camp earlier as well.
Shut it down. Obviously, Watson's been a circus around it all. The fact that this team is going out and being competitive, considering everything that this off-season has been, is nothing short of a miracle.
Do you think? Yeah. So, like Mark said, who you crediting for this? You crediting?
I'm going with the players. I'm saying that. I mean, maybe it's the recruitment that they've deliberately gone out and found these players.
Found players that are having to prove themselves.
They've just been written off, and they're like, right, well, I'll show you.
Who was it? Said last week the Texans. I think it was Tony. Might have been you, Mark. Sorry, not to discredit you. Said that the Texans seem to be picking up players who all have trade value. Yeah, as well.
They're going
to just constantly accrue 4 third-round picks. Like someone's running back goes down, you wouldn't be surprised seeing someone come in for Lindsay or David Johnson after the way they're playing.
I know to go on a bit of a tangent, but I'm surprised he got let go.
Well, Lindsay, I think the reason Lindsay never got picked up is because teams didn't have a background on him. Like if he was a drafted player, say a 4th round player, it's probably likely he'd have got picked up. But he was an undrafted free agent, wasn't he? I think the problem is teams haven't scouted him enough to have enough confidence in what they had before. I know what I'm saying is in what they had before he was at Denver, because a lot of teams will write off what he's done at Denver, going it could be a one-off, one season wonder, blah 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 blah. Where if they'd scouted him and having college, then seen what he'd done at Denver and gone, we've got enough history on him to know we trust this guy. Whereas like a lot of talk, that's what Bill Belichick does. He trusts his own scouting reports. So when players come available, he goes, well, I don't care what they've done in the league because this is what I thought him, so I'm going to bring them in. So maybe teams didn't have that on him, and that's why he's gone to someone like the Texans. But like you say, if that is what the Texans are doing, it's so smart to let's just accrue. We know this season to write off. The fact that we're being competitive just means we're going to accrue loads of picks for our players who are shining.
I heard Mark Ingram speaking. I don't know what it was on, whether it was Good Morning Football or one of the shows, and he was saying about they asked him about David Culley.
Yeah,
and he said he just said you hear because you're here because of your presence. You know, Mark Ingram's 32. He's been in the league for 10 years. You're here for your presence, and you're not just here for the snaps. You're here for who you are as a person, as a player. Do you know what I mean? And it's probably he's probably buying into that. Do you know what I mean? I'm only here for a short period of time, but I'm here to make an influence on the team.
Fair enough. That's what sounded a lot like Brandon Bean from Moneyball.
Yeah.
Can I talk about Dimitri Felton?
Yes.
So me and Mark don't know who he is.
I've got him in fantasy
So
team.
I think he was a 6th round pick out of UCLA, and it was all about is he a receiving back? Is he going to play a little bit like your man who's gone on IR at Miami, from Kentucky, Lynn Bowden Jr. He was one of those where is he a small slot receiver that's going to pick up some runs? Is he a running back that's going to catch the ball? And the way he started the year and the attention he's getting, I'm starting to think, not immediately, but in the medium term, whether he's going to make Kareem Hunt irrelevant now.
Do you know,
because he's doing a lot of what you would expect from a Kareem Hunt.
His measurables...
If that is the case, give us him back.
His measurables in his combine was awful for Felton.
There's a lot of talk about how everything on tape was great, but his combine was woeful.
It was awful. He never ran particularly quick. He never jumped particularly high. He wasn't particularly good on the 3-cone. It's just everything never tested fantastic. That's why he fell to where he did.
I watched the game from the year before he was drafted, and it was totally by accident.
UCLA, was it?
UCLA versus Washington State, and it was. And I only watched it because somebody had said one of my favourite games of the season, so I stuck it on. And the whole thing off the field was that Gardner Minshew, at the time, was starting for Jacksonville in the crowd.
Yeah.
He had his jean shorts on. Everyone was going mad. And then on the field, Dimitri Felton had nearly 200 total yards, and it was a mixture of rushing and receiving. And then throughout the whole draft process last year, nobody's mentioning him, and I'm sure he went in the 6th to the Browns.
Yeah,
and I just thought, okay, he's going to be maybe a special teamer, practice squad guy, and they'll see how it works. All of a sudden, I'm starting to think Kareem Hunt, in the long term, you're in trouble. And you're saying you could have him back in Kansas City. I'm saying you need a running back.
I'd fucking love him back in Kansas City. What do we think of the Browns overall then? After obviously they lost week 1 to the Chiefs. They were struggling at one point against the Texans.
I thought they were better against the Chiefs than lost than what they were against the Texans and won.
Do you think that might be a recurring theme for them?
Maybe they hyped themselves up.
Having to get up against the teams that they should beat, sort of thing.
It's a good job they're in our division then, isn't it? You know what I mean?
If that's the problem the Browns are going to have, then I mean I had them as an outside bet for the Super Bowl, but if that's the way it's going to be, if that's the way their season's going to be, then you can wave goodbye to it.
After seeing with the Chiefs, I think they've got a great chance. Maybe it was just a case of just a slow start in first half.
I think it's
a crushing loss.
It's another week, another team sort of underestimating the Texans. And then, to be fair to the Browns, second half, the gap started to open up. I think the injury to Tyrod and Davis Mills coming in was the big thing, because he's not ready.
Yeah. Next game, Broncos 23 at Jaguars 13. Now, for me, Broncos are going to, by week 3, because they're playing... Who do they play next week? They play another easy game
Jets
next week.
Next week, innit?
You calling that an easy game,
yeah, and it's going to be the softest 3-0 ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
You're calling the Broncos a soft now. Yeah. You just don't want to give Teddy Bridgewater.
You don't want to give... Teddy was superb in that game. Go on. Drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. No, I'll to be fair, he has surprised me, and I probably bought into the whole game manager thing with Teddy. Do you know what I mean?
He's got stars there, so that's
and to be fair, Jerry Jeudy went down, and then Cortland Sutton stepped up this weekend. And Noah Fant scored a touchdown, his first one since his injury.
Patrick, is it Tim Patrick?
Yeah.
Now, the thing that impressed me with Teddy is when you consider his injury history, and he's got this idea as a dink and dunk, get the ball out quickly kind of quarterback, avoid hits, avoid injury. He was staring down receivers as the pass rush was coming. He was taking hits.
Takes a lot of bottle too, though.
Yeah. And I was looking at Bridgewater and I'm thinking, this is a different Teddy Bridgewater to the one that we've been
3
told.
years removed now, from his injury. Maybe it's just he's confident in it now after having a year with him.
Did one of us have a bet for Satan to be Satan to have defensive rookie of the year? Was he?
I don't know.
No,
because he's looked good through the first 2 games.
Yes.
As an outside one.
You know what worries me about the Broncos, as obviously a Chiefs fan, their defensive line isn't there yet. Von Miller's still getting himself match fit. Bradley Chubb hasn't played at all, has he? Or has he barely played? If they get going with the way Patrick Surtain's played and that backfield, and if Bridgewater carries on playing the way he's playing, they are going to like you say, it might be a soft 3-0, but that 3-0 after 6 weeks and they get better every week.
Well, that AFC West in total, like, you know, I'm just talking Denver. The whole division's a tough one.
Yeah. So I think Broncos could be the exciting team this year.
Maybe. I think the Jags are just. I don't think what you can say about them. I
thought they played better this week. They stayed in it for longer, and then obviously I think Broncos just took over and shined a bit.
I think.
How do you feel the young quarterback did?
I think he's had a massive shock. Yeah. I think you've said it for months. He is being used to winning. He hasn't lost a game since high school, I think.
No, he hasn't lost a regular season.
So his first ever loss, meaningful loss, was week 1, and then he backed up.
Regular season loss.
So I think it's come as a massive shock for him, this losing thing, and I don't think he's ever. There was questions about his how he deals with adversity and stuff like that.
He's not had it. He's not had it. I mean, Clemson in the ACC in college football, it's Clemson win it. Yeah. You know, you're getting worse odds on Clemson winning that than Alabama, because at least Alabama have got Georgia, Florida. There's teams that can challenge them. It ain't there in the ACC. Like, Clemson win it year after year. I thought on the opening drive, Trevor Lawrence looked fantastic, and then
he was definitely better.
The game wore on, the scripted plays were out. He was thinking on his feet, and obviously it's a good defensive unit. Don't get me wrong. Like, you can't take that away from it. But I thought as the game wore on, he seemed to be not struggling for ideas, but struggling to keep up with what the defence was showing him.
I think the other thing you got with Trevor Lawrence is you've got to realise now is he's no longer around stars, is he? Like,
not comparatively. I mean, he's playing around better players, but the opposition's just infinitely better.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, he hasn't got the receivers that he had at Clemson. They're so much better than the cornerbacks and that he can put balls in dangerous areas now. And well, at least my player's so interesting.
Do you think he's suffering from his pre-NFL fame? No, so we judged him. We expect him to be Justin Herbert or better than his first season. And maybe it was unfair of us to do that. Do you know what I mean?
I think he's suffering from the fact that we expected him to turn around a bad franchise so much. I think we put too much emphasis on how much he'd turn around, how bad that franchise is, and I think when it's now eye-opening just how bad they are.
He's also very lucky that it is Jacksonville, because that's, I mean,
doesn't get the
nobody
attention.
pays attention. We're going to come on to it with different quarterbacks in a minute, I'm sure we are, but like when it's Jacksonville, like half the team could just walk off the program tomorrow and it wouldn't make the front page news because people don't care about Jacksonville. Yeah. And in a way, if he's underwhelming at the minute, that's probably good for him.
What do we think of the Urban Meyer coming out and saying, with the fans, stick with us, things are going to turn around?
I only say that though when there's a leak saying he is arse on it. Do you know what I mean? And that doesn't come from nowhere.
You say there's a leak. You don't know if there is a leak.
It doesn't come from nowhere though, does it?
He's I'm not going to say that he's not got a lot of friends, but he's got a fair amount of enemies, and there'll be people out there desperate for him for this to fail. Yeah. And so when leaks like this come out, you do think, is this someone that is just willing this into existence?
Yeah, I wouldn't think too much into the leak, but I think more into him coming out and saying that. When some managers say stuff like that, it doesn't fill you with confidence. You think it's the dreaded vote of confidence, blah 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 blah. I don't know. I feel like I liked that he come out and said it because of how, not arrogant, but the way he spoke pre-season. Okay, we're here to challenge, we're here to do this, we're here to do that. It was a case of him going, no, listen, we still have the same aspirations, but it's going to take time. Yeah. I like that sense rather than just go, because I think also it takes a bit of attention away from Lawrence, the coach saying it's going to take time and stick with it sort of thing.
And he's like Lawrence in that he's not used to losing. You know, Florida and Ohio State, he was a winner. You know, and you know, I'm not saying that he was lucky to be in that situation, because obviously he's a good college football head coach, but he's another one that's just, he's not used to losing, and all of a sudden he's 0-2. I don't think he can remember the last time he was 0-2 in anything. Definitely not Connect 4 anyway.
And you just said then about media spotlight. There's a quarterback in this next game who seems to be thriving. First 2 games outside the New York media.
There's a quarterback. Go on, man.
So Sam Darnold.
He is. Go on, Sam Darnold.
What's the game?
First 2 games. Not that we.
Tell us the score in the game, Mark.
Right. So it was Panthers 26, Saints 7. Now again, you've got to sort of temper that with the Saints had 6 coaches out with COVID protocol.
8 coaches with COVID protocol,
including an OC, including the quarterbacks coach. You know, they were just basically riddled. They had Marcus Davenport out injured. They had, I think, Lattimore was out injured as well.
Yeah,
could have been. it was probably an ideal time to sort of face the Saints, and Jameis sort of reverted back to type in this game.
We're back to old Jameis.
I think it's a bit harsh on Jameis this, because I think.
Are you playing Tony's role here now?
No.
Because Tony B tells shut the fuck up and that. I genuinely, I think it was a bit harsh on Jameis for the simple reason that when he started throwing him interceptions, they were 20 odd down. Like he was trying to get his team back into the game.
So,
there was no point at that point. It was a case of you might as well try something because we're out the game if you don't. So part of me was a bit like, and then everyone's gone revert to type. Oh, look at this terrible interception. You're like, oh, come on, he's trying something.
He's slinging. Yeah.
So
you know that old that video that released, and he was warming up and he was shaking his hips and pretending. I saw where that warm-up is coming into play, because when he was winding up that final interception, those hips were doing some bits on the step up.
Do you know, you're saying that it's been unfair on
I've never
Jameis.
really noticed people's hips.
There is double standards in the NFL.
Jameis's hips are made out of
quarterbacks. So there was a play where Jameis threw an interception in where he had the defender climbing all over him, all about to, and he just throws a last-minute ball. Now, Mahomes has done that umpteen times and made the play. But this week he got caught out doing a similar sort of thing where he stretched and he launched it and he got hit.
It's hero ball, isn't it? It's hero ball.
So no one really bats an eyelid at Mahomes because it's come off numerous times and he's done it. Jameis does it and he gets slated. I mean, I was the first one to take the piss.
I think the thing with James, like, we'll talk about Mahomes one in a bit. The thing with James' one is he's just throwing it up there. Mahomes, he does throw it in an area where the receiver, where like, but that's because of the Chiefs, the receivers Chiefs have got sort of thing. I'm not saying like, but Mahomes doesn't just look. Jameis just threw it up. Jameis, like, there was no, I didn't see a receiver in sight there when he was throwing it up. But Mahomes, when he throws it up, it's because he knows Tyreek Hill is down there. It's like how fast he is. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a case of if I throw it in that area, Tyreek Hill's probably going to be first to the ball.
Did you see the game at all? This game,
the 40.
Yeah,
Darnold looked comfortable. I wouldn't say he looked fantastic. He looked more comfortable
than
the Panthers, play.
Like the Broncos, getting better and better.
Yeah,
like that.
I fully expected this O-line to struggle in week one against the Jets, and to be honest, I do think you did the Jets a disservice. Certainly, the defense in the second half in week one, because the adjustments the Jets made it a close game. Anyway, we're talking week two. The Panthers O-line was supposed to get absolutely run over by this Saints defense, and it kept Sam on his feet. And I mean, I know you want me to sit here and will him to fail and sort of, you know.
No, we want you to be gutted that he's doing well.
I'm not gutted he's doing well. I'm made up for him because I've seen when he was kept upright, when he had open receivers, when he had the talent around him, which was rare. There were glimpses. And to be able to see that consistently throughout a whole game, rather than in a quarter or 2-3 plays a game, to see it consistently over a game, I'm like, maybe what I was saying about him for 3 years wasn't just hopeful, you know, because the longer it went on with him in New York, I just thought, this is just me wanting it to be.
Tell you what makes a difference though as well, having a superstar next to you.
Well,
Christian McCaffrey's a quarterback.
I've just checked something then.
Like just to mention Mahomes, I know sometimes you like to throw the whole Kelsey and Hill that good. That's why Mahomes looks even better. Possibly that's why that's a difference. A superstar next to you makes look how average Drew Brees has been for years. But then having Kamara next to him, carries him through games. Sort of thing.
This is probably not too controversial thing to say, but had McCaffrey been a Jet in week one, Carolina lose that game.
Yeah,
without a shadow of a doubt, because it was establish the run, but you don't just establish the run with McCaffrey. He's also a passing option. Open the field up, safe, sensible football. Don't let Darnold sort of get ahead of himself and make mistakes. Yeah. But McCaffrey is the reason why they're 2-0. You know, he's not the only one putting points on the board, but because you've got to worry about McCaffrey in the passing game, it's opened up space for DJ Moore. It was Robbie Anderson the week before. They've got so much around Darnold, and if that O-line can keep surprising people with how well it can protect him, that's a playoff team easily.
I check something then. So McCaffrey had 70 yards on the ground, 60 yards in the air.
Yeah.
That was his worst game from a stat point of view in nearly 2.5 years. All right, fair enough. One of them years he was injured for most of.
No, it's just incredible.
It's still to think that.
Doesn't matter if he's injured. Like,
do you know what I mean? It's just beyond.
If anything, it's more impressive the fact that he's come back from that and he's like, remember me, 180 yards week 1, 130 week 2.
Yeah. What do we think of the Saints now? Because they shocked us, didn't they, in week 1?
Aren't they? Hot and cold.
I think that's what the Saints are going to be. It's just, I mean,
I think the Saints are going to be a lot like what we've known about the Ravens for a while. Obviously, excluding this week, they need to play with a lead. And if they get a lead out early, the game's going to go great for them. But if they're trying to come back, that's when they'll start.
Kamara's fucking another bet up for me with Rob as well.
Yeah, well,
he's had a slow start, hasn't he?
Slow start. He needs to fucking hurry up. He needs to get to 2,000 yards.
I think if we look at the quarterbacks, I think the
case of the burn, innit?
The quarterbacks sort of represent what the team has been like, because Drew Brees, you knew he was on the decline, but you always knew Brees was going to get there. And it was the same with the Saints. Yeah. You never thought the Saints, they're going to win the Super Bowl, but you knew they were going to go deep in the playoffs. Yeah. And it was the same with Brees. You know it's on a slow decline, but they're going to be there. With Jameis, it's going to be the same with the Saints as a whole.
It's going to be 5 touchdowns or 5 interceptions.
And that's just the way he is, and it's the way the Saints are going to be. Yeah. And when you have Jameis as you quote QB1, that's what you're signing up for.
Be interesting how long they'll stick with him. Get next game off.
Next game was Rams 27 at the Colts 24. Now this game could have been far and away out of sight for the Rams.
Can I say something about this game?
Go on.
Carson Wentz has got to be. Now, Deshaun Watson is in the league this year, so Carson Wentz got to be the hardest quarterback to sack. Like, he's like a magician. He's unbelievable. The way he dodges defenders getting to him
excuse me.
He was unbelievable this game. If you look at his stats,
have you done a PCR test prior to coming this evening?
Enough.
Thank you. Sorry, Rob.
Needs to do a PRICK test.
I'll spell that out for you later.
I've caught that off you, by the way.
He was unbelievable this game, and his stats mightn't show it. But if you watch this game, the way he kept the Colts in it, extended drives.
Yeah, I look at it from a different view. There was a play where he had Donald, and another Rams defender.
Yeah, Donald coming off the edge.
Yeah, and instead of tucking up and getting in the fetal position and taking the sack, he starts to stay on his feet too long. Now, a quarterback with his injury history, with his knee, his ankle, and then whatever the injury is,
both ankles this week,
tuck up and just take the hit.
He's made a cinder toffee, but the fact that he was able to sort of wait for his receiver to get open, make that deep play with Donald coming off the edge, and I think Donald did make contact with him and hit him. The fact that you've got the best defensive tackle possibly the league has seen in a very long time. I mean, he can get pressure from anywhere, and he's inches away from you, and you're still waiting for that perfect opportunity to deliver the ball.
Again, excuse me, sorry.
I'm going to make you do another one after this. The fact that he's waiting till the opportunity.
Someone's going to use this as video evidence to stay off for another week. Is 8th time quarantining?
That's another 10 days in isolation. Do you know any good Netflix series I need to catch up on? I think Carson Wentz was great in this, but I do think that the killer in the first half was the interception on the shovel pass. I still don't know how it happened. I watched it a few times, and if in the red zone against the Rams at 7-3, to establish a lead at that point in the game, really puts them on the front foot.
How surprisingly good is Cooper Kupp? We all know he's good.
I don't think he was surprisingly good. I think how
underrated rather. Sorry.
Yeah, but look who's throwing to him now.
It's so good to see him on a good team. You know,
Stafford is unbelievable.
So good to see him on a good team.
He wasn't as good as one.
You feel sorry for him for being on the line for so long.
I mean, I've been saying the same about Darnold for 3 years, and then the Rams. How long has he been there? Was it 2011?
Yeah,
that he was drafted.
Yeah, but that was the first Hard Knocks. No, Goff.
No, I'm talking. I'm talking Stafford.
No, Stafford.
Stafford's been there
well longer than 2011. I think.
So 2008.
14 years in the league.
But that's purgatory. I mean, imagine spending almost your entire career at a team like that, and it has been a shambles. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, at the twilight years of his career, he's going not only just to LA where he's going to live the dream. Yeah. He's probably living in Jared Goff's old house. Jared Goff's missus might still be there. Yeah. Jared Goff's missus might be. You going where? Michigan? Nah, you're all right. I'll stay here with the dog. And Stafford just moves in. But I mean, I'm so happy for him to go there on a good team, and
he might get the credit he deserves now.
Would you begrudge him a Super Bowl?
No.
Well, it depends who he's in the Super Bowl against.
Baltimore by the looks of it.
No, then. Next game, Mark.
Yeah, I was getting carried away with the
I'm
Stafford loving there
now with every game.
I know.
Next game.
We've both got the same feeling, don't we? Yeah, I'm just glad you're getting it first. The only problem is I've got to go light on you.
The 1 week Sony's on here. and he doesn't get to live this.
Fucking
Bills, 35.
Surprise.
Dolphins,
Tony's not here.
0.
Tony Plant, I see you. I see
Tony,
what you're
you
doing.
fucking little-handed shithouse.
I see what you're doing.
Dolphins, the only team not to put up points.
Yeah.
Do
you know?
Was it me or in last week's episode when Tony sat here and just casually declared the Dolphins were going to beat the Bills? Was there any logic, or was it just Dolphins?
Just Tony.
It's Tony.
Right.
Do you remember when he said it was the best defense in the league as well?
Yeah.
Josh Allen doesn't lose against Miami. Like the Bills, I mean, they were never going to go over.
They can't defend the run, so like,
and then Josh Allen
comes. Yeah.
Like,
fucking Zach Moss. Zach Moss turns up and fucking a bench to come because he never played in week 1.
I mean, even Singletary's getting yards. I mean, that is
fucking.
And I don't think the Bills played that well, to be fair. I don't think they had to play
I think
that well.
Dolphins just terrible.
I've just realised I've got to be careful because we're going to be playing the Bills twice, aren't we?
And the Dolphins coming up.
Yeah, I'm going to calm down.
Anything I want to say about the game then? I didn't pay attention to it.
say.
I don't watch your teams because I think you were going to talk about them and I forgot Tony wasn't going to be on.
I only seen like the highlights of it, but Tuba's injury was obviously a concern if you're a Dolphin fan.
Yeah, but he couldn't get anything going before the injury.
Well, yeah, it's true. I think the one thing that Brian Flores has always been
Here's one question for you. Sorry to interrupt you, Mark. Do Bills now have a pass rush?
Yeah.
Like, it's second year for, what's his name?
Epinesa.
And Gregory Rousseau this year.
This year.
Yeah.
Have they now got themselves a pass rush?
Yeah.
So they've invested first and second and third round
but we know
picks
Dolphins haven't got a good O-line.
It is terrible, but I think that, and I've been there. Dolphins fans, I've been there. When you don't want to admit that your quarterback might not be the guy that you think he is, the O-line gets it.
Do you think it's quicker now just to pull the plaster off with him?
I'm not going to say anything about Tua because it is still too soon to tell. He's still not had a full season. But he was hit 4 times before exiting the game.
Yeah.
And that was in the first quarter. So Wilson in week 1, terrible O-line play, was hit 10 times across 4 quarters. There was 4. I mean, and that last hit, it took everything out of him.
Yeah.
I mean, you could see. I suppose there's always this pressure on players to walk off the field, because it's a big deal about being carted off.
Yeah.
But Tua really did not want to get up from that hit that took him out of the game.
It's going to take an eye though if you get a hit like that.
Can we? Is there any? So Tua's X-rays will all come back negative.
Negative as in
like he hasn't broken anything. Negative as in one of his plays. A negative play. He's only got bruised ribs. Only, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But is there a question mark now over his toughness? Because no one's come out and said anything, but the way at which people are reporting that, everything was negative. Everything was negative on the sidelines. Everything was negative 2 days afterwards. As if people are trying to go, well, he's not injured, but he is. People question, like you just said, we've got Carson Wentz getting hit 11 times in a game, having 2 bad ankles, a dodgy knee.
But he's the other end of the spectrum. That's why he's got 2 bad angles.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Is there a question mark over, like, because you all know I question Wilson's willingness to win, and willingness to put himself on the line. Have we got another one with Tua sort of thing where he's got
Russell Wilson there, not Zach?
Russell Wilson, yeah, not Zach.
Like, we've not started yet. Like, there's no need for extra digs.
I genuinely thought that
you're going to be drinking my tears in a minute, so there's no need for any more.
No.
What worries me is, from a Miami perspective, that team gave up.
Yeah,
and I know the Bills strangled them on both sides of the ball, but there was. I mean, Brissett. We were talking about Tua and toughness, but we saw nothing from Brissett to say, okay, they'll be all right without Tua.
It's fair to Brissett, he's had no first team snaps, nothing. He hasn't got the experience that someone like Ryan Fitzpatrick would have. I'd be more interested to see what comes out of Brissett in 2 or 3 weeks, rather than
coming in halfway through a couple of weeks ago when I said Dolphins have done brilliant acquiring all these picks, these first round picks, but are we going to look back in 18 months and go, you're just like the Raiders and you've spunked all your picks on Damon Arnett and fucking Cleveland Farrell?
It doesn't,
because it looks like Leo Rechenberg looks like dog shite. The one from last year.
Yeah, is Austin Jackson getting snaps?
Austin Jackson was last year's first round pick, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was the second one.
He looks dog shit.
Is he getting snaps?
I think so. From what
I mean,
I'd have to, but it just doesn't seem to be working. And then they've obviously went out and got Waddle. But I mean, Waddle's looked half decent, to be fair. The big free agents, Will Ferrell. Will Fuller.
Will Fuller.
Will Fuller. I don't know why I had Will Ferrell in my head. Will Fuller, obviously, he's got family issues. That's going to be clipped, isn't it?
I think you have to call him Dragon now.
Yeah. Elf running down the sideline, catching balls.
Fitzpatrick, I know that guy.
Ma, get the fucking meatloaf.
Will Ferrell.
I don't know where I got that from.
Well, he's not playing anymore. He's currently at home wanking over housekeeping. Good housekeeping.
I don't think we're going to see Will Fuller at all.
Is it a family issue? Is his mum? Is it?
Apparently so. Apparently his mum's unwell. But I don't know. I've got no facts, no reasoning. I just
the way it's talking, it's like we're not going to see him. Whereas in the Browns and OBJ, it's constant. But we're waiting to see him. Yeah. You feel like he's going to be ready any minute. I think Dolphins are pretty much going, yeah, we'll see him when we see him, if we see him.
And also, the fact that there are receivers on that roster means that we're less desperate to see him.
Yeah.
Also, this is a bit, off topic. This is the best conversation we've ever had about the Dolphins without Tony. We're fucking mince.
Yeah, let's wait till all the Chiefs.
Excuse me. Don't get too high in your horse yet, Son, because next game coming up.
Come on, let's do it.
Patriots 25, Jets 6.
Yeah.
Now, again, I am not reading too much into this. You're a new franchise, new head coach, new quarterback. New franchise,
a new start.
New staff, franchise, new head coach. You've had injuries across the offensive line. Mekhi Becton's out with a dislocated kneecap.
The O-line was better without him.
Just tell him, really? just tell him, Mark, he's a fucking...
No, Bill Belichick, he's new quarterback, and he licks his lips, doesn't he? You know what I mean? He loves them young, Bill Belichick, do you know what I mean? Bill like someone else we know where he's on.
I think that we need to be careful about giving too much credit to Bill Belichick.
Oh, why?
Because...
Let's just blame Zach Wilson. He's got more interceptions than he's going to have wives.
I would love to tell you.
For anyone who doesn't know, he's a Mormon. Just for anyone who doesn't listen.
Yeah.
I would love to tell you that Belichick, it was a defensive masterclass, that he was showing Wilson things that he hadn't seen before, that there were stunts, there was coverage. I mean, he's well-behaved lad.
I'm sure he is. Fucking boring.
This every single interception was Zach Wilson getting in his own head.
Yeah.
If you watch the pre-game, Wilson's pumping up the crowd, jumping up and down, getting him waving the towels, and then he gets onto the field. I feel
like I told you so about Wilson, but it's only week 2.
It's only week 2. The first one, the one thing that Belichick did do that he always does, it isn't going after the young quarterback. It's taking away your favourite reception.
Yeah.
And in the first 2 interceptions, Wilson is trying to force the ball into the hands of Corey Davis, who has been, in pre-season and week 1, his favourite target.
Yeah.
The first one, he's throwing into a tight window, into double coverage. There's no other open receiver. So if he throws the ball away, we go for another snap. He's forced it to Davis. And actually, there was a throw against Carolina where he did a similar throw. Davis made the catch on halfway. Anyway, comes out. The second one is definitely on him because he's looking downfield to Davis when Elijah Moore's open in the flat.
Yeah.
And you dump it off to Elijah Moore, you take 3-4 yards, out of bounds, go again.
Yeah.
The third and the fourth, they just got more and more boneheaded. And all he was thinking in his own head is, put it behind me. And all we've heard about Zach Wilson is he doesn't make the same mistake twice.
Yeah.
Well, he did in this game. He made the same mistake 4 times, which was hero ball.
Yeah.
And if you looked at the quarterback on the other side of the field, Mac Jones is never, ever going to get you out of your chair. You're never going to stand up and go, oh my God, Mac Jones, what did you just do? But what you constantly do when you're watching him is you go, good effort, Mac Jones. You just
the NFL, is he?
You just mildly impressed.
He's the Tom quarterbacks, is he? He's the monotone.
I thought you were going to say that I was remarkably consistent.
He's just very monotone. He's just very level.
I thought you were trying to say you mildly impress him.
That's what I thought we were getting at. But
you have your moments.
With Mac Jones, you constantly go in. Decent that from Mac Jones. Good decision. Accurate throw in a tight window.
Has Mac Jones gone to the right team? Is that what it is?
Absolutely. Yeah. But any of the quarterbacks that ended there would have been at the right team.
Did you see Wilson throw to McCourtney? The interception.
I did.
That was his worst one. I thought there was not a Jets receiver within 10 yards of it.
Davis is running an inside post, and I think Wilson is expecting him to run the out
Just
because he's throwing right down the throat. Yeah. And Davis is moving in field. So he's either confused the play call or, Davis has adapted his run. Whatever it is, miscommunication. But the thing that pulled me back in was in the fourth quarter, 4th and 15.
It's like you with Jets quarterbacks, there's a lot of there, isn't there? Every time I'm out, they
that.
pull me back in.
Oh, I forgot to tell you about my metaphor as well. I'll tell you about it in a second. So 4th and 15, he's stepping back. 4th and 15, all of a sudden, he's 4th and 22 because he's taking his 7-step drop. And then he just throws an absolute laser to Vincent Smith on the left touchline. And the game's gone. The game's finished. And he's playing with the twos because Corey Davis has been pulled off the field. And then you watch a play like that, a throw like that, and you think, it's the reminder of, that is the special thing that the Jets have seen in him.
Yeah.
Right, let me tell you about my metaphor for the game. So, as you can see, over there is my journey of Jets quarterbacks from Mark Sanchez, AFC Championship game player, by the way.
Mark Sanchez, the butt fumble, most famous for the butt fumble.
Yeah, so we got the butt fumble, and then we've obviously got
ghosts, got Down syndrome, got ghosts.
And then...
what illness did he have?
Mononucleosis.
Mono?
We don't call it mono, though, do we?
Jersey girls,
what do we call it? Glandular fever.
Right.
Mononucleosis sounds more serious, though, doesn't it? If you say, I've got glandular fever, you go, oh, have you been necking? Yeah. Whereas if you say you've got mono, you're like, oh, is that curable? Like, do I need to write you a letter?
We've got buff fumble, neck and ghosts.
Yeah.
Where are we going with this? Tell
Super
us the
Bowl.
metaphor.
Super Bowl.
So why is your metaphor?
Right. So the metaphor is the actual jersey itself. So I don't like watching the game at 6 o'clock. Put the kids to bed 7, and watch it an hour back, and I can fast forward through the adverts. Gets to 7 o'clock. Put the lad to bed. There's my Wilson jersey.
Yeah.
And I see the number on the shoulder has got a loose thread.
Yeah.
So I just leant over, bit it.
Yeah.
Thought that'll be the end of that. More loose thread. Bit it again. By the end, almost all the corner is coming off.
Yeah.
And while I was doing that, and I didn't know it at the time, Zach Wilson was literally coming apart at the seams on the field. Yeah. I should have known. That was a message from the football gods.
Leave it alone.
Leave it alone.
How did you say you bite cheap, you bite twice?
What I would have said is if he'd done the thing that you meant to do, took a lighter to it and burnt it,
well,
then you maybe you'd have set Wilson on fire and he'd have torched the Patriots.
What I actually did was I thought, that's a bad omen. If I put that on, he's going to have a bad game. So I put my Joe Namath jersey on, and he still threw 4 interceptions anyway. So it was all on him. And he's a rookie. He'll learn. He'll get better. But this ain't on the O-line. It ain't on the play calling. It was all on Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson was shite.
Right, next game. Let's see. Where are we going? We've got Bears 20 at Bengals 17.
I thought this game was done. And then they just let the Bengals back in.
Yeah. The game was done. Fields didn't look great when he come in.
First time against ones as well. Unfortunate. But, in pre-season it's been against twos. This was against the ones.
Ian in our group, our lovely friend Ian, said it's the first time he's seen a quarterback get done not once but twice.
Farah said that.
For full start. Yeah. He said it's just the weirdest.
Didn't know a quarterback could get done for false starters, I think. I know Mahomes has been done for one. Yeah.
And twice in one game. Now, whether it's just eagerness, whether he should say he wanted to run with it as soon as he got the ball. I'm saying he wouldn't even have the ball.
He's moving. You've got to have someone on the centre.
Yeah.
Still. So, when Mahomes got called for a false start, I think Kelsey was on the centre and Mahomes was still moving around. I think the idea was Mahomes was going to run past, take the ball, but I think only one person can be in motion.
Right.
Yeah. At some point, there was 2 in motion. With Mahomes coming back on the centre, someone went somewhere else, and then... So I'm assuming Justin Fields is doing something similar. He's under motion to centre while he's probably sending Montgomery or someone. Like,
to be fair to Fields, I feel like it was a bit patchy, but he threw a dime to Allen Robinson, and Allen Robinson should have hauled in. And he, like similar to Wilson, he showed flashes of probably what the Bears.
You're going to see that from any rookie, aren't you? You're going to see it. I thought the Bears, with 5 minutes left in 55 minutes of football, conceded 3 points. Joe Burrow threw back-to-back interceptions.
It's interesting because, as Mark's saying, our admin king, Ian, he said this is the worst defensive backs he's seen at the Bears sort of thing, and now
It was all for me. It all looked to be the pressure up front.
Yeah,
I mean, Roquan Smith, that pick six was incredible.
Roquan Smith, don't talk.
When you're watching him run, it's like like in PE when they used to like put you in the sprint, they'd put like the lads in the football team in the first lot of six. Yeah. Roquan Smith was like the lad that wins the sprint in the last group in PE because you could see he was going hell for leather, but you're looking thinking you're like in the top 5 slowest players on this field, and he is going hell for. I've made up for him.
He ruined me fancy anyway this week on another fancy league. In this
talk about that in a minute.
Yeah,
it's
get to fancy in a bit. Go on.
Yeah, we'll do that in a minute.
Anyone want to say about Bengals? We Burrows fighting back after interceptions, putting them behind him, getting his team back into the game after coming back from a big injury.
Are you worried? Back to back interceptions?
I
think he's forcing it by that point, though, isn't he?
I'll be honest. I was more happy with what he'd done after them coming back from injury last week. I think he's shown he's got a bit about him, and we're going to see. Give it a couple more weeks, we're going to see a decent quarterback there. Jamar Chase again doing bits.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like he's fooled us all, Jamar Chase. Like he's done everything he can to make us think that he's going to flop. Yeah. Even complaining about the ball. And then he gets back-to-back touchdowns. Like, oh yeah, there was the best wide receiver in college football for 2 years.
I think he's played 2 shit games of pool. That was like a little shit bet, and then all of a sudden we've upped the stakes.
He's hustling,
and then he just went full on. You know
he's
what I mean?
Hustler.
So once you've had Micah Parsons at Connect 4, Jamar Chase game of pool.
That'd be so
does Jamar Chase drink? Anyone know that? Because I have to have a
loser gets the Jaeger bombs.
Couple of bevies. I have to have a couple of bevies first. Get me iron.
I think he's that athletic that if you put 2 Jaeger bombs in him, he wouldn't know where he was.
Oh, Jamar Chase, you want to get in a pool? I'm ready for you, baby.
McCooley's concert
anytime
square.
You want.
I'll be in the shisha bar on the square. Just let me know how it goes. What, the shisha bar?
No, the fact that you know somewhere to Liverpool.
I'm an honorary Scouser.
You can't give yourself the honour.
No, it's been bestowed upon me.
By who?
By another bully you got in uni?
No, by
someone from McGull.
By the waitress in the Mayflower. She was like, you've been here 3 times at 4 o'clock in the morning. You are now officially a Scouser.
The Chinese waitress in the Mayflower called you an honorary Scouser.
Is
she in a position to call anyone an honorary Scouser?
She's more Liverpudlian than I am.
Right. Doesn't say much.
Go on, next game.
Right, Bucks 48, Falcons 25.
Not even worth talking about this, is it?
No. It was just so predictable, so boring.
Falcons are finished. The Bucks just. The only thing we're talking about, Gronk look like he's 10 years younger, and Brady actually getting off to a quick start, whereas normally it takes a while to get into the season.
I think the Bucks will just basically choose your fucking death, innit? Do you want Mike Evans to do you? Do you want Gronk to do you? Do you want Brown to do
horrible,
you? Do
you know
what I mean?
It's horrible.
It's whatever way.
I still think they'll come short.
Yeah. If we're moving on, this was a good game. I see Cardinals 34 at Vikings 83.
Love Kyler Murray.
I do, but
I mean he's so good.
I don't want to say too much about it after the second week, but he seems to have taken a huge step up.
Yeah,
I feel like these are the Spurs of the NFL, though.
The Cardinals.
Yeah, they're very good on the eye to watch, and but I feel if you turn, they started off like this last year, if you remember.
Weren't they blowing Vikings out? Did Vikings come back into this game again?
It was the other way.
Vikings the other way.
So I'd back the Cardinals -3.5.
Yeah.
And I looked at it before half time, as I was going to bed, and I think it was 20-7 to Minnesota, and I thought, well, that's the end of that.
To be fair, Kirk Cousins had a really good game.
Kirk Cousins was great.
A lot, but he had a really good game.
Kirk Cousins. I mean, maybe there's something about because he's an anti-vaxxer. Nobody's talking to him, so he's spending more time watching tape because all his mates have just stopped talking to him.
He's not allowed to be in the room with anyone else, so they just give him the room.
Put him in a dark room with last year's tape on it. Yeah. But he was great. And Justin Jefferson looks healthy.
But he has them games where he's great, and he's still not going to win you a game.
Do you know if there's ever any other players that you'd say, I'd love to see you in a better situation? Dalvin Cook gets yards when there's no offensive line. He's the most shiftiest running back you'll ever see, and he still produces week in, week out. You know, if he had an half-decent offensive line behind him, in front of him, he'd look decent. He'd look so much more, but like, he'd be classed as the best running back in the league. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. He's one of the best running backs in the league.
He is, but
he's the best.
I think he gets done with fake praise.
I think him and Aaron Jones are very similar in the sense that like you say, they get down with it because of the team and what's around them, like Jefferson and Field and stuff like that. you don't appreciate how good he is. Like Tom said last time he was on the pod, if Aaron Jones had a different team, he'd be spoken about a lot more.
Yeah.
I think Dalvin Cook's the same. If Thielen and Jefferson weren't his wide receivers, and Dalvin Cook was in a situation where maybe Christian McCaffrey is, where the receivers around him are good, not exceptional, you talk about him a lot more.
Who was the receiver? That's just come out of nowhere for the Vikings.
KJ Osborne.
Where the fuck's he come from?
I don't know. I picked him up. I picked him up in sort of fantasy and free agency, and then brought him in, but then kept him on my bench. So watching him bring that touchdown,
60-yard touchdown.
Not a more frustrating.
At the end of the day, it's all coming down to the kickers because Cardinals went a point ahead to end the half, which was a decent comeback considering they were down 13. It was a 62-yarder to take the lead at halftime, and then obviously the kick for the Vikings cost them the game as time expires in the other half.
Yeah,
and the game basically is boiled down to 2 examples of good quarterback play and two crunch kicks.
Yeah,
one went through the post, one missed. Did you hear the Minnesota commentary?
No.
So the Minnesota commentary said, "Kick, it's good," and then then the co-commentator went, "It's wide right."
Oh.
And then there's a good 15 seconds of him going, "Oh my, oh my."
This game next game is Seahawks 30, Titans 33. Now, Seahawks look
how
Aldi threw it away. I don't know, but then I did not. I know Derrick Henry just does Derrick Henry bits.
Aldi threw it away is because what the Titans did was what they didn't do in the first game, which was they just kept going back to Henry. So in week
the
one,
defense turned up as well, though. The Titans,
but
the Titans have got a defense. In
week one, the Titans tried to get Henry going, couldn't get him going. Tried to force stuff to Julio, force stuff to AJ Brown. Tried to show, we've got this expansive offense. We'll use everyone. Against the Seahawks, it was a case of, we're just going to keep hitting you with Derrick Henry because eventually you'll fall. And that's exactly what happened.
Julio still went off for 120 yards. Because
he'd established Henry so much that then, I think what they were trying to do week one was sort of establish everyone too quick. Yeah. It's like, you've got, just have one star and then let the rest. Like,
the temptation's there when you've got Jones and AJ Brown. The temptation's there to sling it. Because Tannehill's had 2 good years with Tennessee now as well. So, Vrabel and the coaching staff are, well within the rights to think we can be a passing offense.
Yeah.
But you when the shit hit the fan in the second half, give the ball to Derrick Henry.
I had a thing that said Derrick Henry needs 20 carries before he gets going. Because eventually after that, he'll just wait out and he'll break off a 50 yards,
it's not before he gets
run.
going. It's Derrick Henry needs 20 carries before you get hurt.
Yeah,
it's like at some point your body's going to go, oh for fuck, I've got to tackle him again.
He's the one running back that when he's got the ball, I fear for the defender.
Yeah.
Not if you see some of these smaller backs, Clyde Edwards-Helaire sometimes looks like a child.
Yeah.
I suppose Kyler Murray when he's running with the ball looks like he's 14. Derrick Henry running at full speed. I worry for the linebacker because he's a bowling ball.
Yeah.
He's just
But and if I was a Seahawks fan, I wouldn't be too concerned with this result. I think it was just one of them that didn't go your way in a day. They looked good, better than what I thought he would.
I think is he 3 or 4 games off breaking the record for the most 150-yard games in the NFL.
And he's in good company. He's in with Barry Sanders and people like that. Do you know what I mean?
He's going to break. He's going to be top.
Yeah. Next game, Cowboys Chargers. No, Cowboys went. I'll give them a bit of credit. Where Cowboys 20, Chargers 17. Cowboys went the complete different direction. Week before, they knew they couldn't get the run game going against the Bucs.
Yeah.
Bucs got the best run defense going.
Yeah.
This week they decided to run the ball between Pollard and Zeke, and Dak sort of took a back seat. And they look better. They look like they can manage the game better.
This was my fucking
Dak fucked you and CD Lamb fucked you.
Betting bastard of the week. Yeah. Fucking, I love a little 4-fall, didn't I? I had Patriots to win. 49ers to win.
Is this with the handicap?
No, just to win
outright.
Because the odds were like too much in their favour. So
I mean, Patriots -6 was printing money.
Patriots were
they -6 at the Jets?
Just -6.
Patriots were only 3 to 5 to win. So I had Patriots, I had 49ers, I had Rams. I had them 3 teams to win. Then I had the Chargers and Cowboys in the 9 o'clock game to go over because neither of them have got a defense. And I was like, you saw what happened with the Cowboys and the Bucs. I was like, Justin Herbert they've got no pass rush now. Marcus Lawrence has gone to the Cowboys. Like, these two are just going to have time to sling the ball. Sling the ball and do whatever they fucking want.
Passing on edge and make Mika pass on edge.
Mika, you cunt.
Here we go again.
Just think how bad I'm going to beat you at Connect 4 now because you fucked me bet. You could have let Justin Herbert score another few more points and then you would have scored. I wanted just to win. I wanted CeeDee Lamb to go off. I wanted Dak Prescott to go off. I want you to do well. You're my mate now, sort of. But
you sent me one DM.
but why?
You a bum.
Why have you got a fucking... You're not an edge rusher. Why are you suddenly an edge rusher? Because you're great, mate. You can do everything except play Connect 4. I'm going to smash you with that. But why? Just fuck me. The Cowboys and the Chargers, pair of cunts, fuck me bet. How was that game not going over 55 points?
That was the only bet I was comfortable with was the under. I can't even tell
where
you
are you getting that from?
Everything's about to tell you that's going to be a shootout.
Exactly.
I don't know why.
The points they had against the Bucks, the Cowboys, Herbert with all the time in the world. Oh, how did you haven't got fucking? Oh, that was my only bank out of them 4 games. That was my one. Was like that is definitely coming in.
What was the over? What was the over?
54.5.
What'd you get?
So 55.
That's only 27 points each.
27, 28 points.
That's easy doable.
On the first quarter, finished with 17, 18 points. I was like, well, if they all stay, every quarter's like this, I'm flying in.
I don't know why. I had no reason for it. I had a free bet, and so when I looked at that fixture, I couldn't pick a team, not even without the handicap.
Yeah.
And so I thought, looking at the over-under, it was the highest of all this, and it wasn't looking at the teams, wasn't looking at defenses. It was the highest over of the whole week. So I just smashed the under.
I come in.
Well, it was a 12 leg, and about 4 of them came in. That was one of them. I was just playing the percentages.
Everything about that game screamed that it was going to be a high-scoring fixture.
My favourite throw of the whole weekend was Herbert in the third quarter, 3rd and 15, to Keelan Allen.
Yeah.
Just talking about placement and the direction, it was a thing of beauty. It just seemed to be, seemed to be a game for kickers. I mean, obviously, Greg won it, but it just seemed to be trading field goals.
The whole week seemed to be a game for kickers. I had Herbert to have a difficult second season, and he's just not. He looks unbelievable.
But then they just doubled down on him. They've strengthened the defensive line. They've got Corey Lindsay in.
I know, but sometimes when you've got tape on people and stuff, you think, but no, these just, like you say, they've done the right thing. Chargers done the right thing, but Chargers are going to charge you, aren't they?
Do you want to do the next game,
2
Rob?
games left.
Yeah, well, we know what next game is, don't we? Do you want to do it, Rob? I'll say that grumble as a no then.
Ravens 36, Chiefs 35. Right, do you want to talk about it? And I'll fill in blanks.
The luck that you got last week where the Browns fucked up. I remember I said you need all the luck you can if you're playing the Chiefs. I think that slightly maybe ran out. Although
you say that in the first drive you get a pick 6.
Yeah.
And the next drive you get an interception.
Yeah. But then ordinarily Chiefs win. You don't give the Chiefs the ball.
Yeah.
But he's never this week because obviously Clyde Edwards here. Was it Clyde Edwards who fumbled?
Yeah, it was Clyde Edwards who
fumbled. The Fairway.
Yeah, oh mate, that drive. So Mahomes at the ball. We've got 2 minutes something. Literally within 2 plays within field goal range. And then they start to play. So they played for the field goal. Yeah. So that's why they give the ball. Clyde's laid ran, played for the field goal. Coming away from this game, how I feel as a Chief, Andy Reid costs us the game, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire costs us the game. I don't want to have a go at Clyde Edwards-Helaire too much, but he's just not good enough. He's not in this level with bigger players, stronger players. He's not good enough. Every game you're waiting for him to break off one big run, and he doesn't. Every game you're like, oh, there's 4, there's 3, there's 5, there's 9. There's 8, there's 4, there's 3, there's 5, there's 9. But you're thinking, just once get into the defense, get into the backfield. Like have a 20, 30 yard run. Just once you're thinking he just never does. So having no real run game outside of him let us down. But what really let us down, Andy Reid, and he does this. He's done this since he's been at the Chiefs. He's won us a Super Bowl. He's got us to 3 championship games in a row with Mahomes. It's hard to criticize him, but it's weird to say he's too nice. He gets leads and just plays complacent. He gets not complete. Yeah, he gets leads and then takes takes all the aggression out the game and just starts like, right, we'll just calm it all down. We'll just nice and easy. Don't take any risks. Keep giving them the ball back. It doesn't matter. We're so far out the way. They're not going to bring it back. And in this game, he done it. He done it with we went up to. I think the highest lead we had at one point was 13 points. But on top of having 13 points, you look like we're going to score every drive. Like we were just going through the Ravens like it was nothing. And then he just sort of took all the aggression out of it at 13 points. And was like, they're not coming back. Well, our defence will make a stop. We'll be fine.
There was 2 points in the second half where the Chiefs led by 11 against Lamar Jackson.
I think 13 at one point we were leading by.
So I think it was the start of the fourth. You were up 35-24. And I thought, 15 minutes of game time left. And the way that the Chiefs have had Lamar Jackson's number, obviously Tyrann Mathieu set the scene early on. I thought that's it. But fair play to Jackson because, usually what we expect when it hits the fan, Jackson just reverts to his feet. Yeah. And I think one thing that he did do, which took the Chiefs by surprise, is he kept slinging the ball and he kept the defense honest.
What he did, and people said he done in the first game as well, but I didn't pay too much attention to the first game. He was running, but it wasn't running plays. Yeah. So he was. They weren't coming out with design runs.
It was a breakdown.
So like
East run.
But yeah, so basically he was like Jim Harbaugh. There's a big trust in him, as everyone will have mentioned by now. When he asks them on 4th and 1, do you want to go for it to win the game? And they do. Which again, brilliant by Jim Harbaugh. Brilliant by Lamar. Yeah, completely agree. So that was brilliant. But there's trust in now of right. We're not going to design runs for you. We will have some design runs, but it'll be a case of this is a throw and play. If you don't see the throw, you see the gap, go for it. And the trust in him to make that decision.
Biggest design run for me was the one where he ran it in and done the flip. That was such a well disguised QB run.
He's great on play action. Yeah, because you see certain quarterbacks. Sam Darnold's the worst at it. Like Darnold on play action, he's not giving the running back the ball. But Jackson, you've got no idea where the ball is. I mean, sometimes the camera follows the running back, and he's
it happened in this game.
I was pissing myself laughing a few parts in this game where I could picture you calling every cunt under the sun. Yeah, beginning of the game, Ray Lewis coming on doing his dance. I can imagine you going.
Oh no, I didn't see that. I got up at 20 past. I got up at 20 past 1.
Fucking dancing and everything.
I literally got up at 20 past 1 when he kicked the ball.
He's done a tribute to Omar, the.
From the wire,
because he was obviously set in Baltimore, so he's done like a whistle before the game, so I can imagine that pissing Rob off. And then Lamar Jackson ran at the end, doing his fucking flip into the end zone. I can imagine you call them every cunt under the sun.
Well, you do that when you come on stage for your gigs. Like if you've got it, flaunt it.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest. Coming away from the game, it was annoying. Pissed me off the fact that we were literally scoring at will and then took all the aggression away.
Does that mean you haven't got a run game then?
We haven't, Mark. We haven't got a run game, and we're trying to force one. Because what we've always done is use the slant as the run game. And that's the thing was though. When it comes to the 2-minute drive, and like I say, 2 plays. One of the plays was slant to Kelsey. We're in field goal range, but then rather than continuing to do that, easy completions, slants to Kelsey, sort of thing. Like no, right back to the run. Clyde's lay the ball, bang the balls out. It was just so frustrating. But like you say, 11-point lead, taking the aggression out, and it was just annoying. It was frustrating. The Ravens did well, but again, the Chiefs should have won that game. They were in field goal range, and if it wasn't for that fumble, we kicked the field goal, we win the game probably. But bad teams, you find ways to lose, and the Chiefs found a way to lose. I hope Andy Reid learns from it. He won't, because he's been doing it for years. He always does it. He takes leads and just kills the game. And it's just like I think if we'd have put 50 points on them if he didn't do that, and they probably could have hung with us. They probably could have got 40 points, but we'd have carried on scoring and made it too hard for them.
It's a good time. It's a good time to play the Chiefs in the first few weeks of the season. We've seen in previous years. It by the time week 5, week 6 rolls around, you know what you're dealing with.
Teams are in the groove, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean the Browns. I thought the Browns did a great job of hanging in that week 1 fixture, and it's a good time for a team like the Ravens to play them as well. If this was a game week 14 with the Browns, the playoffs,
the difference between the Browns and the Ravens game is the Browns had the lead, So Chiefs were forced to be aggressive, and when Chiefs are playing aggressive, we're brilliant. Or when Chiefs are having to hang into games, like knowing right, well these are going to score on us, so we'll score. But the minute we got a lead, it's like we can own. To link it to football, when Brendan Rodgers was at Liverpool, we had no defence. Suarez, Sterling, and Sturridge. It was go all out attack or nothing. And the Chiefs are like that now. It's like we've got to make teams make mistakes because we've got to be aggressive and we've got to put pressure on teams. And I felt like with the Ravens, that they made the mistakes early and we didn't punish them enough for it. We let them come back into the game, whereas I feel like Chiefs have always got to play thinking these could come back here.
I don't think that happens in an AFC Championship game, though. I don't think that I'm not going to call it. I don't want to call it casual sort of game plan, but I think that idea of taking your foot off the opponent's neck, that doesn't happen in a playoff game.
Yeah, but most teams
probably not. Probably not. But Andy Reid does it a lot. Like he does it a lot.
Right, should we move on last game? I haven't seen much of this.
Neither
I haven't
have
seen the score. So
no surprises. I mean, Aaron Jones was going off and having 4 touchdowns and ruined the fantasy game that I was in. But
it won me one of my ones.
Obviously, Rodgers is always dumping week 1, and then he's Aaron Rodgers from week 2 onwards. The Lions are.
Can I just say, if we've got nothing else to add to it, Jamal Williams is the funniest person in the NFL. His interviews are amazing.
I've not seen it.
You could watch 5, 10, 15 minutes of his interviews. He's the most charismatic person.
Well,
he's funnier than you. He's not as charismatic as me, but he's funnier than you.
Right, well, we've now gone to all the games, and you didn't do your meltdown.
No, because it's
your monotone moment.
I sent you my monotone moment. I don't think I could deliver it live.
Right, okay.
Because I wouldn't stay in character.
Should we look back at what it was then?
Because believe it or not, monotone moments I'm in character for.
Yeah. Right, are we ready? Hold on, I don't think I'm connected to the rodeo, the Roadcaster Pro, mate.
And how long does that take? Does he need to do his
Bluetooth?
Mine's just a rant.
Go on, you do your little rant then, Mark.
Right.
Go.
So, why is it no cunt in the NFL can tackle? And I mean tackle. So, wrap around, bring the player down. They're always going for that hero.
Didn't Chandler Jones have 5 sacks last week?
I'm not talking about a sack where a player's standing still. I'm talking about... So, first one that annoyed me the weekend that I seen. Travis Kelce. Big, dopey, 6'2", 220, 230 pounds, tight end.
Big,
receives
dopey.
The ball.
Best tight end
I'm just
in the league, and he's a big,
the
dopey.
Ball on the 30-40 yard line.
Yeah.
Right. How he has run past so many linebackers, so many safeties, and no one's wrapped them.
Yeah.
And brought him down.
You'd have wrapped him, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You'd have seen him right
down.
Yeah,
of course, what? I would have fucking
wrapped his knees away.
Take him, fucking hit him at the knees, take him down. But no, they're all trying to shoulder him, and he just fucking spin off him, or they punch the ball at him. Just take the fucking cunt down. Take him down on the 30-yard line. It's a field goal, or you stop it.
Can I make a counterpoint?
Go on.
If away does that, Chiefs win that game.
Yeah, but that's the one time out of 10 that works. But it doesn't. Now, how many times, so many players that I see on the sideline where they go in with the shoulder or they go to punch it and they miss the receiver. It's just like they do not get told how to wrap around and bring a player down. Damian Harris, right, bound through how many players and no one could get their hands on him to bring him down.
You're going to find out in a minute.
No,
you're going to find out in a minute.
Wrap your hands around him and stop going for the spectacular play where you punch the ball out or you shoulder him. Just put your hands around them.
Right, just to go back to the very
Derek
beginning.
Henry is completely different because no cunt's fucking tackling him. And I mean, no, once he is in open field and he's 6'10", built like a
I'd
big
run the other way.
Yeah, he's
right. You're telling me you'd go for Kelce. Derek Henry's going anywhere near me. I'm running.
Who? Henry.
Derek Henry.
Yeah,
I'm running the other way.
No one's fucking.
I'm going off the sidelines.
Yeah. But someone. Kelce is not running quick. He's a target. He's a big tight end. That you saying about someone running slow before. Who was it?
Roquan Smith.
Travis Kelce running with that ball looked fucking stupid and no cunt.
Oh, that's a bit hard.
He did.
That is a bit much, Mark. Come on.
You know when you take a dog to the park and you've got a big dopey like Labrador and she's like that fucking, you know what I mean? It's just someone bring him down and tackle him.
That's twice you've called Travis Kelce dopey.
That's just more to illustrate the fact that he's big and he's just a big lump, isn't he? Someone bring him down.
He's the best tight end in the league and you're calling him a big
best
dopey
slot
lump.
receiver in the league.
Just to go back to the original conversation.
Yeah.
You said nobody can tackle.
There's so many
and then you
missed
said
tackles.
a sack, wasn't it? Why in your mind is a sack not a tackle?
I mean more of running. Someone
So
running
someone's
the ball.
coming at you.
You're saying no one tackles an open field anymore?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I should have maybe been a bit more eloquent about how it.
No, I wouldn't shoot you.
No, it wouldn't play into me stereotype then. Just tackle them. Just learn how to tackle a receiver or someone running with the ball.
Do you hear that? Linebackers of the NFL learn how to tackle.
Yeah.
And Micah Parsons, that doesn't include you because you're now technically a defensive end.
Yeah. And
Speaking of breaking tackles, I think it's time for the monotone moment.
Here we are. It's late, Tom, so you need to maybe like...
It was nearly Kyler Murray for a second.
Good evening, sports fans. Here is the Week 2 monotone moment. And it comes from New England's victory in the Meadowlands over Zach Wilson and the New York Jets. In the second quarter, with the score 13-3 to the away side, and the game strangely still seeming like some sort of a game, Mac Jones hands off to Damian Harris on a 2nd and 1 on the New York Jets 26. Harris runs through the B gap right and breaks not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, but 8 tackles on his way to the end zone, giving New England a healthy lead over their famous rivals. Congratulations, Damien.
That sounded a bit breathy, that.
You sound like that last time, like I said, very sexual.
I didn't think I sounded sexual in the
very
first.
You know what you've missed your calling as a meditation voiceover.
Like Paul McKenna?
After three, you breathe in, breathe out.
This is my moment.
Now, me and Martine McCutcheon, we could be a duo. That would be a duet.
Just you breathing heavy in the background. This is my moment.
Haven't you been locked up for that before? Breathing heavy behind people?
No comment. No comment.
Right, moving on. Let's do some fantasy updates.
What? You're terrible. Go on, tell everyone what you did. The only person in the listener league not to break 3 figures.
Was I?
Lowest scorer in the sleeper league that you pretend not to care about when you're losing that.
We'll start with the listener league then. Here's the scores for this week. Me, now 5th on 97.
Who beat you?
Smashed by Tom, who still remains behind me though in 7th on 164.
Actually, looking at the scores, that's quite a low scoring victory as well. Looking at it, there's only
because we've adjusted the scores for excitement.
There's literally only you that I would have beaten this week. Unfortunately, that you were my opponent.
Scary Terry. Mark goes 0-2.
I don't like your profile picture.
It's Scary Terry.
What do you mean it's Scary Terry?
You've never seen Rick and Morty?
Rick and Morty, that's why it's called Scary Terry.
I've seen it, but I wouldn't be able to point him out.
Ricky, Scary Terry.
Well, Eskimo Brothers, who's that? Oh, got a message.
Don't know. Not a clue.
Eskimo Brothers, it says State. He's what position's he in now? But he smashed
He's went 30 points over his predicted.
Oh, you're obsessed with predicted, you.
It doesn't mean a thing.
Yeah.
Like, take that out. Ignore it, because whoever's coming up with those predictions, it's total nonsense.
Well, I put 173 points up. I still got beat again. It's like last year, when I had these high scores, I get beat every week.
Yeah, because it's the burn curse. Yeah. Fuck the commissioner, which is Tony.
Yep.
He's on 178. I don't know why he'd be like that, unless you've seen our latest clip when you might understand. He's played Sheehan.
Oh, shit.
What are you doing here?
180.
Now? This is the first week that he's talked into the microphone episode, and now he's breaking the table.
Callum, 222. Moves up to
That's
top.
Score, that.
Goes 2-0. You can't say some score. Mark, I've changed the scores. It's less impressive when you know that I've adjusted the scores, so the scores are dead high.
So you tried to cheat and you got 97
I haven't tried to cheat. I've tried to make it more exciting by having dead high scores. And winning for Wes, unfortunately, 183. Either won every game, or either only lost to 2 people. But unfortunately, you lost. So that puts us first, ESC Denver. Callum winning for... can't remember this county, the second name. Winning for West second. Fuck the commissioner, Tony third. Team name to be Sheehan fourth. So 3 of us are out the playoffs at the moment.
Look at my points against though. 4-3-4. Everybody's looking like career weeks next week.
Listen, that you can only beat what's put in front of you,
true.
and you're failing to beat what's put in front of you. Fix it.
Exactly. Moving on, the Charity League we're in. So week 2, I had another shocker. I only lost by 8 points though. Let's point out. So basically, if Clyde Edwards-Helaire wasn't shit, we'd have won our game.
We've been saying shit for ages.
We'd be 2-0. I know,
if
but
you'd have listened to me from the day you drafted him,
I just want to believe.
Did you draft him
imagine what
first?
life would have been like if J.K. Dobbins was on the Chiefs.
Oh, stop it, Tom. Imagine what life would be like if K Hunt wasn't one. So that puts us 7th. Not sure if we're in playoff positions or not now. But we're only 1-1, still plenty of time. Got beat by Shall We Football?
And did you?
Last week I said no we shouldn't, but maybe I should start. Yeah,
what misfortune are you going to be falling?
I just want to say to Shall We Football, good game, boys. But 1, go fuck yourselves. 2, I hope you get home. I hope you get home and you don't, and someone has turned your charger off from the socket and you don't notice, and you plug it in when you go to bed, and your battery runs out, and because your battery runs out, your alarm doesn't go off, and then you're late for work. Because you're up late for work, you're running around to get ready, you haven't got time to charge your phone. Because you're in a panic, you forget to take your charger to work with you, so you're spending the whole day with no phone, your phone's flat. While you're in work, you miss some sort of important phone call, maybe it's a girl, maybe it's some sort of reward that you're waiting on, maybe it's something you're trying to buy, it's finally in, but you don't see it because your phone's been off all day. So not only are you isolated, alone and bored in work, you've got no phone, you miss the biggest opportunity of your life. When you get home, when you turn your phone on, you realise you've missed the biggest opportunity of your life, and also your partner isn't talking to you, whatever person you've got in your life isn't talking to you because they've ignored you all day. You go to turn the telly on and you realise you should have recorded something, but you forgot to record it because you haven't been on Twitter to see any updates, and your life, your fucking afternoon, your evening, whatever plan you had was shite. Okay?
Do you know what would be a good day for that to happen? Wednesday night into Thursday, so they forget to set the fantasy team.
Yeah.
And they miss the early fixtures.
Yeah. So I hope that happens on Wednesday. Gang of rats. So that's our fancy updates for this week.
Just that one, yeah? Not the other league that we're in where you were the lowest scorer?
There's no don't think the pod's involved in that anyway,
It is called the Far From Lombardi Dynasty League.
Is it?
Yeah.
Right, so what happened in that then?
You were bottom scorer. You top scored in week 1, bottom scored week 2, with a Chiefs heavy line.
So I'm the Jameis Winston of fantasy football then.
I'll let you have that.
Right.
I think I'm the Kirk Cousins at the minute. I am. When I'm losing, it's deserved. When I'm winning, there's always a question mark.
Right.
So I am in a very false position at 2-0.
Right. Fair enough. Okay, moving on. Is there anything else to update on before we go and look at this week's games?
Is it really, isn't it?
No, just Tony, we hope you post bail. If you need any cash helping.
Yeah, so Tony's been done for illegally selling trading cards. Turns out what he's been doing the whole time wasn't legal.
It was LSD.
Liverpool win a 3-0.
Against,
if anyone's bothered, against Norwich in the Carabao Cup.
Expected. See, what I'd heard with Tony is that he was forging the signatures on the cards.
Oh, I heard the jerseys weren't real.
I heard that he was selling drugs in the back of the cards. There was LSD on the back of the cards.
Licking the cards?
Yeah, that scene in him.
I tell you what, I know he's going to jail for a long time, but what an idea that is.
Yeah.
Tony Plant selling plants.
There's a scene in the prison where he licked the jigsaw pieces, got LSD on.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think Tony had that in him.
He's not done it, obviously.
Yeah, he's the middleman.
He's got someone else to do all the labor.
I think he's owed money to someone. I reckon he's been forced into doing it.
He's owed money to everyone. I think that's the problem.
Yeah. Well, he's going to owe money to us when we post his bail.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to post his bail, to be honest.
I'll 15 quid.
Yeah.
Anything more?
Well, we'll see. We win this bet this week, and if we win the bet,
are we actually going to put a bet on this week?
You send me your $5s, I'll put the bet on.
That's not how it works.
It's fucking.
You put the bet on, and then you bully us to give you a $5. That's how it needs to work.
Right.
Go,
Mark. Get your phone out. Get this week's fixtures in case there's any market not open yet, because there'll be some with no quarterback, so they won't give odds on yet. Sure, Houston Texans against the Carolina Panthers. Texans are 3-1. Panthers are 1-4. Is anyone seeing any other winner this week?
Not unless the handicap's absolutely massive.
Do you want to see the handicap?
If you've got it.
7.5.
Still take the Panthers.
I'd still take the Panthers there as well.
Yeah, me too.
Davis Mills meant to be in a quarterback.
And they've officially ruled Watson out of playing as well.
Well, yeah, they said they're not going to bring him back. Bills, Washington. Bills -8.
I'd take us with the +8. I would fancy us with the +8.
We've just been talking about how that defensive line,
it's the weakest steps up,
isn't doing it against a mobile quarterback like Daniel Jones. They're coming up against a better Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
It's the week to do it.
I don't know a team +8, but
I wouldn't bet on it, but I'd feel confident taking it. It's just shitbag way to say it.
Not for me. Not for me.
so is this going to be 0-3 for what? I know you wondering, yes?
Yeah,
1 and 2.
Yeah.
1 and 2. Interesting. Are you worried about our winning season bet yet, Mark?
Ask me in a couple of games first.
That's a yes. Browns v Bears.
Browns -7.
Taking the handicap.
Yeah.
Oh, do you want it? Is that what you're putting on?
I'd have that for the bet.
Lovely.
I don't mind that. Don't mind that.
I don't know. I'm a bit like. I think maybe I just want Ian to be happy, but I'm always a little bit hopeful of the Bears.
You never want me to be happy.
I think you're funnier, miserable. Ian's not. Ian's not on the pod.
You want me to be unhappy.
Ian's in the background, so
okay.
I want Bolton to do well because you don't talk about Bolton in this podcast.
Okay, I'll take that.
But I hope the Jets suffer. Lions. Mark, don't forget you meant to check the fixtures in case I miss any. Lions, Ravens. Ravens -7.5 after a big win against the Chiefs.
I mean, against the Lions.
Yeah,
7.5.
Look at the line to the first game. Got blown. I know 40.
Give me the Ravens.
You want the Ravens?
Absolutely. 7.5. I'd expect that to be double figures.
Well, here's another big one. Jags, Cardinals. The way the Cardinals are playing, they're only -7.
Yeah, easy money though.
Are we missing something here?
I think we missed. Well, we never win the bet, so
clearly
we're missing something.
We're missing a lot.
Jag, Cardinals. So, Chiefs, Chargers 6.5.
I don't know about the Chargers, you know.
They've got it in them, just linger.
My only thing is, I don't think Chargers have really got a run game. Eckler's more of a double threat.
Chiefs, though, to be fair.
Yeah, but the reason I'm saying that is you need the run game to beat the Chiefs.
To show up the time.
Yeah. So you know what? Chiefs bounce back. I'm having Chiefs -6.5.
Well, the Chiefs don't lose back-to-back games. I'd be tempted at the over-under on that one. Because if Herbert can
I'm not going here over under the Chargers again. They can go fuck themselves. That's what done to me last week. Patriots, Saints. Only a field goal in this.
And it's in New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Sorry, I don't know whether it'll be in New Orleans.
No, it's in the Patriots, sorry.
Is that New England?
Yeah, it's in New England.
It's not going to go cold yet, isn't it? It's not Patriots weather yet, is it?
No. But after week one, I think after week one, we just said Saints will blow these away. And now
we know what the Patriots are, but we don't know what the Saints are. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's.
I think you just got to flip a coin with the Saints.
I think you go home field advantage with this.
You go the Pats. Fair enough. Giants, Falcons.
Giants.
Two bad teams.
They are two bad teams, but Giants can put points on the board. Falcons don't seem to be able to.
Don't fancy this for a get ready, a get fit game for the Falcons now.
I need the Falcons to be in dire straits because I don't see the Jets winning a game now till week 5.
Right.
At the London game. So I could really do with the Falcons getting beat.
Fair enough. Steelers, Bengals. I think this is a much better game, bigger game now than what we'd expected before. I can secretly fancy the Bengals, you know.
I do, +5.
Do you?
Yeah. The Bengals are dangerous.
Yeah.
I'm relieved now that you've both put your bets on and that's not going on there.
Why? Are you saying that just because it's the name, the Steelers? Or are you seeing the fact that they've lost CJ Watt?
I'm saying it because Joe Burrow threw back-to-back interceptions and the Bengals put 3 points up on the Bears' defense in 55 minutes.
Right.
But then look what they done to the Vikings week before.
I don't know. I'd stay away from that.
Yeah, I think I would, Tom. I would stay away, but I fancy Bengals. Well, that is one of the ones where to go, oh, yeah, stay away, but fancy Bengals, and then go, how right was I when Bengals blow them away? That's one.
Yeah,
of
Tom, put your money where your mouth is. Bet on your Colts.
I've already got mine on.
Titans v the Colts.
Yeah, I've already got my bet on.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a 5.5 point game. By the way,
I don't think. I think this is.
I think the Titans should be bigger.
The Colts 0-2 now. Colts are 0-2. Titans have had a blowout, comeback game against the Seahawks where Derrick Henry looked boss. I think people are getting ahead of themselves. I think this is a evens field goal game.
Yeah.
I think 2.5. Broncos v Jets 10.5 to Broncos.
I'm going to say something now.
Go on. Don't say you'd take the Jets.
I would.
You saying?
I would. No, I swear to you, I would.
You're messing.
No,
I'd need a bigger margin to take the Jets on this.
Right. I want you to,
I'd want 17.
If you've got a spare hour and a half,
yeah,
right, go and watch Jets Patriots.
Yeah,
but just do not watch the Jets on offense. Watch the Jets on defense. They're a bend not break defense.
Yeah, but they've come up with a much better offense than the Patriots now.
They are. But I'm saying the Jets lose by less than that. The Jets lose the game, but they lose it within a score.
Oh. Do you want to see what the odds on that are? Jets within a score. Oh, just over the score is 5-4. Let's see if we can get a score. -5. Jets +5 is 2-1. You'd fancy that a bit?
I'll be putting that on my own acca this weekend.
You'd have to because I'm not letting it go out. Raiders Dolphins. This is going to be a good game.
It's Tony's bet, is it not?
Oh,
this is Tony's bet.
Tony hasn't put a bet on. Oh yeah,
proxy bet.
Proxy bet.
He's putting Raiders 3.5.
There it is. Raiders 3.5. Yeah, Tom making sure that
listen,
it's even
fair's
for everyone.
Fair.
Yeah, fair enough. Raiders 3.5. I actually think it's going to be an interesting game. This Raiders got to be feeling themselves, exciting. Derek Carr's been slinging it. Surely you're not going to try and sling it against the Dolphins.
Didn't he go off injured, Derek Carr?
No, I think he finished the game.
I think if Tua is healthy, which I don't think he will be, it's a toss-up game. I think with Brissett under centre, giving it the Raiders.
Bigger, not fancy Brissett. Rams Buccaneers. Here's a game. Here's an NFC Championship
What's
game.
the over on it? The over under.
The over under is 56, so it's quite high.
I'd
fancy the over on that, wouldn't you?
I can see the Bucs defense stifling the Rams, and I love Stafford, and I've seen what they've done this season, but the last time I can remember a McVay offense coming up against a defensive unit as good as this was the Super Bowl, and they did nothing.
They had Goff on the centre.
I think
he's much better quarterback.
I think the Rams. This is.
You think the Bucs are going to get found out, don't you?
Yeah.
You're just waiting for the. Is this like because they beat you in the Super Bowl?
Could be. Or? It could be. I think it's. I don't think they're an exception as people are saying. I think they're a good. I think they're a great team, but I just don't think they're exceptional as what people are saying.
They're not going to play many more games as difficult as this year.
Exactly. And I just think I fancy the Rams.
Sonny Michel's going to come in for this game as well because
Henderson's questionable, isn't he? Do you reckon he's going to be back for the game, though, don't he?
Is that what it is? I was only looking at it.
I know he's going to miss some training. Yeah, finally I get me Sonny Michel game. Finally I've got a running back and that might start. Yeah, I fancy the Rams in this. Vikings, Seahawks.
Seahawks only -2.
Yeah, but they've both thrown away close games. This
Seahawks.
The Seahawks have got Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf. And I don't think DK
and the Vikings have got Jefferson, Thielen and Dalvin Cook.
But he can't go an offensive line.
I just trust the Seahawks. I don't know what it is.
I trust the Seahawks more. I would lean Seahawks.
Right, so I tell you what, those two close games that they lost, I think it was the first time in over 50 attempts that the Seahawks had been up by 2 scores at home and then gone on to lose the game.
Isn't this
Minnesota do it all the time?
This is the first time Pete Carroll's ever gone 0-2.
Well, they ain't going 0-3.
Fair enough. The Sunday night game, 49ers Packers, and good
game.
Some good games, this week. Well, all 9 o'clock, the 9:25 games, and then lead into the 1:20. It's a good week.
I think 49ers, if they can do what they did in the championship game last time they played them, they just ran it down the Packers.
Haven't got any running backs.
I don't think they had that time. I think they just find these fucking running backs from nowhere, don't they?
Yeah. I think the Packers in this one because Rodgers hasn't had his game yet, has he?
Yeah.
It was Aaron Jones last week. What did we always say last season? Aaron Jones 1 week, Rodgers the next week. And I said I said before, the 49ers are weak defensive back. Like they can be attacked. So if you've got Devontae Adams in your fancy team, now's the week. He's going to absolutely storm it. Cowboys, Eagles.
Cowboys for me.
I think it's going to be an interesting game. With it being a derby, I think
this is a big test for Jalen Hurts. You know, at the start of the season, we'd be thinking Cowboys no problem, but I'm actually starting to think, do you know what? If Hurts turns up,
when you play against 49ers, you think, oh, this could be a closer game than we imagined. But love the Cowboys, don't I? I'm all in on them this year.
Yeah, I'll go Cowboys with that one.
Right, fair enough. Is there any games that I missed there, Mark? 1, 2, 3,
No.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
There we go. Rob can count to 16.
There we go. That's all the games done. Thank you very much for listening to week
Ta-ra.
2. We haven't finished yet.
Oh.
I want to go home. I've got such a long journey home.
You've got half an hour.
It's 9:45.
Right. Thanks very much for listening to Far From Lombardi.
Ta-ra.
Make sure you like, subscribe. If you watch us on YouTube, definitely subscribe, little notification bell and all that. Thanks very much for listening. Spread it about as much as you can, and we appreciate you. Thank you.
Bye.